I'm going to guide you through the hyperactive and accelerated marketing landscape. I'll walk you through the ins and outs of building a digital strategy and driving awareness to your business. This includes everything from evaluating your website to looking at the future of online marketing. Hi, I'm Brad Batesel, and I've been in the world of marketing for over 15 years. In this course, I'll be showing you how to integrate analytics into your workflow, touch on the foundations of SEO, and look closely at creating your first text and display ads. We'll also explore the rapidly changing world of social media and video marketing. There, I'll be giving you insights into each of the major platforms along with helpful tips to make your campaigns a success. Together, we'll also look at email marketing, content marketing, influencer marketing, and mobile marketing. Whether you're looking to start your own home-based business or working for a large corporation, you'll find the skills you need to connect with your customers online all in this course. Let's get started. When we talk about online marketing, we're essentially talking about promoting your business online using a variety of channels. And these channels include search, social, video, email, and display. You see, today's customer lives across these channels, and online marketing is about finding ways to be present and stay present at the right moments to capture the customer. The internet has transformed the way that people buy products or services, and now with mobile smartphones, that experience is everywhere. This puts the customer in charge of the buying process. They're armed with resources to conduct research, compare options, share what they've found, and even ask their peers for recommendations, all digitally. And often, this happens simultaneously. What was once the norm in marketing has taken a backseat to its online counterpart. Print continues to drop in readership. People are leaving cable for on-demand shows served up by digital companies like Netflix. And we're distracted by our mobile devices while we walk on the streets. So we miss advertisements in the windows and next to the bus stops. Streaming music has replaced radio. And the opportunity to pay for many services eliminates advertising from interrupting our experience. The Yellow Pages has been replaced by Google Local and Yelp, where the consumer can easily read reviews and see pictures of the business. Even in brick and mortar, people are holding their phones, scanning barcodes, chasing deals, and deciding whether it's cheaper to buy online. And that's where online marketing comes in. As a business, you need to stand out throughout the journey a buyer takes. With so many user interaction points and what seems like an endless amount of channels, online marketing can feel overwhelming. To focus it, let's talk about the 3 types of media you'll be using in online marketing: paid, owned, and earned. Your paid media will make up everything that you, pay for. This will include channels like Google AdWords, Facebook paid ads, and display marketing. Your owned media will encompass channels like your website, your list of customers that you use to send out emails, and a blog with an active readership. Earned media is the world of organic press. Your social media accounts, mentions on other blogs, and articles written about you make up the channels within earned media. Now, all of these channels overlap just as a user will overlap as they interact with each. And together, these make up the foundation of online marketing. So, at the end of the day, online marketing is the process of putting your business front and center along the journey that your customer takes. It's pretty easy to see the importance and the value of building out your online presence. With the majority of online marketing being self-service, it's easy to dive right in. And honestly, many businesses are in such a rush to take advantage of the opportunity that they fail to build out a proper strategy. Being digital for the sake of just having a presence in these channels is not the answer. The key is to build out a dedicated strategy that results in a strong return on investment. Without investing time in a strategy, you're not only going to miss great opportunities, but you may find your business left behind. Because online marketing is so broad, it's easier to look at your overall strategy as 3 distinct strategies that all share a common goal. These strategies cover your business, your customer, and your marketing. Now, I'll dig deeper into each of these in the next few movies. My goal is to help you develop a cohesive online marketing strategy. And to do that, you'll need to understand the plan for your business at a high level, how you intend to be perceived by your market, who that market actually is, how your customers are using digital technology, and what channels you'll build into. Having a clear and well-thought-out strategy keeps you focused, and it serves as your roadmap as you explore new marketing channels. Now, there isn't a one-size-fits-all solution here. Every business needs to create its own strategy, and that makes sense. If you're selling custom t-shirts to sports fans online, your plan will bear little resemblance to a local restaurant. Your strategy will vary, but the focus is always to create shared value. Shared value is when the goals of your customer overlap with the goals of your business. Your entire marketing strategy should be built with shared value in mind. Forget for a moment that you're selling a product or a service, and instead adopt the mindset that you're selling an experience. So, as we look at our 3 distinct strategies, I want you to focus on building each of them out with the idea that at the end of the day, you want to have a shared value experience. And that experience will contribute to your marketing success. The first of our 3 strategies is the business strategy. Here, we want to identify the mission statement, objectives, value proposition, and the elevator pitch. These 4 elements help to focus our attention, and they'll make it easier as we look at our customer and marketing strategies. But before we get there, we need to cross the basics off the list. Is your business digital? Do you have the right structure in place? Will your online marketing efforts fit into your existing process? And do you have the time necessary to maintain your strategy? We'll talk about the minimum effort required within each channel, but you'll still need to know that you can maintain the day-to-day. One of the biggest challenges of online marketing is keeping things up to date. You can only plan an effective strategy if you have a clear understanding of your business from the start. You need a big picture view to determine which route makes the most sense, and when you hit a hurdle, you'll need that big picture view to pick a new route that gets you to your destination. So let's get back to building our business strategy. I've put together a very basic worksheet that you can use to start collecting your thoughts. Feel free to expand this in as much detail as you need. I'm a fan of keeping strategies simple. You need to be able to reference this quickly and socialize it with others without it taking a long time to read through. At this stage, we're just trying to get a dart on the dartboard. Marketing is very iterative. Things change. Over time, you can refine your strategy to find a way to get closer to that bullseye. Okay, so we need to start by defining our mission statement. This one sentence should summarize what we're trying to do. It can be vague, but it should be able to stand up on its own. You'll use your mission statement to keep everything else in check. In this table, I like to put it at the top. This is so I can refer to it as I fill in the additional elements. I'm going to use an example from a brand called H+ Sport and replace the information accordingly. Next, we should define at least 3 organizational objectives, and you can have more if you're so inclined. These should be the pieces that are necessary to keep the business running and to maintain your brand identity. It can be anything from selling product to increasing signups. So for H+, our objectives are to sell nutritional products, be a socially responsible company, and receive validation from the athletic community. These are the makeup of what the business is set out to do. Next, we need to identify the value proposition of those objectives. Why do you stand out? What makes you unique? Why would someone choose you over your competitor? Ideally, you'll select 1 or 2 value propositions for each of your objectives. Finally, add your elevator pitch. Your pitch helps you think concisely. Online marketing has many channels that limit the amount of information you can communicate. So this is a great opportunity to practice thinking in a concise manner. For H+, I've created a 2-sentence pitch that I think sums up the brand nicely. So pick and choose the elements that are specific to your business. Going through this process will help you understand who your business is and where you want your online marketing efforts to take you. At this point, we've got a good understanding of our business, but now we need to understand who our customer is and where we'll find them. With our customer strategy, we're trying to do 3 things. The first is to reach the correct audience. It would be a waste of time and advertising spend to pursue the wrong audience. The right audience will have the best return on investment. The second is to understand that audience, really know what it is that motivates them as it relates to our objectives. And finally, we want to understand where we'll find that audience, or more specifically, what marketing channel we can leverage to connect with them. When we talk about our online marketing audience, we aren't referring to some special class of consumer. The truth is, the customers that shop at a brick and mortar are often the same people who will order from an online store. The major difference, however, is that the digital customer is in control. They're able to drill into a landscape that is more niche and personalized than ever. This means that when you go to identify this audience, you're both blessed and cursed at the same time. You have to be specific with who you're targeting. There's no street traffic to market broadly to. Each view costs you time and money. But because your audience expects to see things they're interested in online, you're able to seek this ultra-fine customer out with ease, unlike marketing efforts of the past. Now, just as we did with our business strategy, we can build a simple table to outline our target audience. I've set up 3 columns here, but you can expand on this, and you might need to, as being more specific is better than being too broad. For H+ Sport, I'm going to put my efforts into 3 different audiences. Age 24 to 35 males who are interested in sports. Age 24 to 35 females who are interested in fitness. And then 40 to 55-year-olds who are interested in wellness. We could get even more specific if we needed to, but this is a solid starting point. Next, we need to put ourselves in the mind of the target audience. What are their goals? What are they looking to accomplish? List each goal for that audience below it. I've outlined that our first audience is interested in performing better. Our second is interested in seeing fitness results faster. And our last audience has a goal of feeling healthier and more energized. The idea is, if you bump into someone on the street and they say, "I'm doing yoga every day, but I'd just love to see faster results," you could provide them with your elevator pitch and be fairly confident that you'll land the sale. But we're not going to bump into them on the street. Instead, we're going to find them somewhere online. And that's where this final row comes in, the audience technology section. Here, you want to identify what channels this audience is using. Is it social? If so, what network? Is it a blog? Are they likely to be searching on Google or visiting a particular website? Now, I've filled out some examples here for H+, but as you continue through this course, I encourage you to take note of which channels we review that resonate the most with your audience. From here, we need to drill in and understand our goals for each audience. I'll be referring to these as our customer segment. We'll end up creating a new table to explore these segments in detail. Now, for each segment, we need to understand 4 things. First, what is our business goal for this segment? These goals are likely a more granular version of our overall business objective. Second, what is the shared value for this segment? If you recall, shared value is when the goals of your customer overlap with the goals of your business. Next, we'll look at the key performance indicators. These will be what you're measuring. It could be how many units you'll sell or how many people visit your website. Lastly, we want to create a target, and this target will be directly related to our key performance indicator. Let's take a look at how we can fill this out for the H+ brand. One of our customer segments was the 24 to 35-year-old female who is interested in fitness. This segment's objective is to see results faster. So we'll start with this segment, but you'll want to build this information for each of your audiences. And from there, we'll identify our business goals. So for this segment, we want to sell a supplement, obtain organic reach, and gain followers on our blog. Next, what we need to identify is how our business goals line up with the goals of our consumer. So under each goal, list why the customer is likely to see shared value. For H+, we know that this audience is primarily interested in seeing results faster, and our product can handle that. Therefore, it's a clear shared value. Continue to fill this out for each business goal. Next, I'll indicate how the business goal is measured. In the first example, my key performance indicator is related to how many supplements are sold. Just as we did with our shared value, we'll identify the KPI for each column. Finally, let's create a target. What are you trying to achieve? For H+, we'll say we want to sell 1,000 units in 3 months, and your target is essentially directly related to your KPI. So take your time and think through your core demographic, the goals for each, and what your final target is. In the next video, we'll take that information and build a marketing strategy around it. Now that we understand our business and our customer, it's time to identify how we're going to go about our online marketing. So you may have noticed a pattern in our previous examples. Each strategy builds on the strategy that precedes it, and each time we get even more specific. Our marketing strategy will actually be many individual plans, each tailored to one goal for an audience segment we specified. To help put that into perspective, let's review another table. Earlier, we identified an audience of 24 to 35-year-old females interested in fitness. And one of our business goals for that audience was to sell H+ nutritional supplements. So our first marketing strategy will be focused on this goal as it relates to that customer segment. And from here, we're going to look at all the channels we intend to market on and then develop a marketing idea for each of the medias available to us: paid, earned, and owned. Now, at this point, you might not have a sense of all the channels you can use, and that's okay. Take an educated guess for now, and then refine this plan as you continue throughout this course. For this audience, I anticipate marketing on Facebook, Pinterest, and the H+ blog. For our paid media, we'll identify what we intend to do under each channel. In this case, H+ will run ads relating to their supplements on Facebook and pay for sponsored links back to their blog from a major fitness website. Now, not every channel has to participate in each medium. In this example, we're not doing any paid media on Pinterest. That's okay. Next, do the same for your earned media. Because this is our organic effort, we're really identifying what we'd like to see happen. We might need to leverage the efforts in paid and owned to influence our earned media. Here, H+ will aim to see viral campaigns, and in an effort to help encourage blog distribution, we'll be adding share links and questions in their articles to inspire conversation. Finally, make note of what you can do with your owned media as it relates to each channel. This might be as simple as posting on Facebook, or it might involve a complex email campaign. Remember, online marketing is an iterative process, and you'll work to continuously improve upon these ideas. As you build out a new audience, new objectives, and new channels, you'll want to make sure you have coverage with your marketing strategy. It's important to be flexible. As you collect more and more data, you'll be able to get closer and closer to your real targets. You may also learn that your plan was too aggressive, or maybe it's even too conservative. There's a lot to think about when you build your marketing strategy. Spend time doing research to further understand your business, your customer, and the marketing channels available to you. You may choose to implement all of the strategies available, or you may choose to ignore a few. Both are valid options depending on what you're setting out to do. All in all, your marketing strategy is the final piece of this puzzle. Build it last and revisit it often. Throughout this course, I'll be using terminologies specific to online marketing. Let's review these terms and definitions together. We'll start with one of the most important pieces of online marketing, your call to action. This is an instruction provided to your audience as a way to provoke a response. Calls to action typically use a verb, such as save now or buy today. You'll find them in banner ads, on website landing pages, and in social media posts, to name a few. As you drive traffic to your site, you'll encounter what is called the bounce rate. This is when a visitor arrives to your website but leaves after visiting only one page. They're said to have bounced, and your bounce rate is the percentage of those visitors. A bounce rate can apply to an entire website or a single page. Now, the traffic that bounced had to come from somewhere, whether it was an advertisement or an email. You'll want to be measuring your click-through rate. As marketers, we'll often measure performance by how many clicks an ad receives. Every time an advertisement is shown, it counts as an impression, and the click-through rate is how many clicks were received in relation to the amount of impressions. All right, let's shift gears now and look at the term abandonment. This is when a user does not complete the goal you intended for them. A user is following a particular path, say to checkout from an e-commerce store, or to complete an online form for more information, and then they leave in that process. In marketing, we aim to reduce that, and that's what we call abandonment. As you begin to scale up your marketing efforts, you'll encounter paid advertising and the term ad impression. Each time your advertisement is displayed to a user, it counts as an impression. Impressions are often tied to frequency. And frequency is the amount of time a single user will see your advertisement. If you had 10 impressions of an ad with a frequency of 2, then 5 people would have seen that advertisement. When a user completes your goal, whether it's buying a product or downloading an application, they're said to have converted. And your conversion rate is the percentage of visitors who entered into this experience and actually completed the goal. To understand how a user converted, or when, we need to use what is called a tracking pixel. These are tiny 1x1 pixel images that are installed on your website to track conversions, website visits, and ad views. Now, advertising only makes sense if it brings you a positive return on investment. To discover that, we'll look at our cost per acquisition. You may also hear this referred to as CPA, or in some cases, cost per action. This is how much it costs you per goal completion. So, if you ran an advertisement with a goal of getting an application download, and that ad cost you $100, and if one person downloaded the app, despite the hundreds that clicked on it, the cost per acquisition for that single user would be $100. That CPA will then be compared to your lifetime value, or LTV. Every customer has a value. Some will buy once and never return. Others will become repeat buyers. Your lifetime value is a prediction of the net profit attributed to the lifetime of that customer's relationship with you. Typically, with paid advertisements, you want your cost per acquisition to be lower than your lifetime value. Now, later, we're going to talk more about banner advertisements and display ads. Here, I'll be referring to visual images, either static or animated, that are used to generate brand awareness or entice a user to click. Most banner or display advertisements will contain a call to action. Now, when you run these advertisements or share an offer, it's important that the user arrives on a page that is specific to your promotion. If you don't use one, it's unlikely that they'll convert. And this page that they first arrive on is called the landing page. Finally, let's look at an organic result. When you conduct a search on, say, Google, you have 2 types of results. Paid results, which are typically the first couple of links, and then organic results, which are not paid and instead achieve their rank through search engine optimization. As we progress through this course, I'll do my best to clarify these concepts as we encounter them. But feel free to return to this movie to brush up on these definitions anytime. Year over year, more and more marketing opportunities present themselves online. And this is because people are creating and adopting new technologies and exploring new ideas. The amount of options available to you as a marketer are almost overwhelming. Now, in this course, we're going to explore the main components of digital marketing, but the concepts will scale to other areas. It's important to keep in mind that your strategy does not need to include every available marketing channel. You may end up using a handful of the ones we discuss, or you may find success in leveraging other avenues that are not part of these core components. With such a wide array of choices, it's important to evaluate which channels make the most sense. If you're operating with limited resources, you may which channels you want to start with. And on the same vein, if you're exploring a new channel, it's a good idea to explore how it'll impact your day-to-day. To do that, I like to evaluate each based on the effort required to build out the channel and the value in doing so. And from there, we can plot them on a matrix. To show you what I mean, let's look at 4 areas of our online marketing strategy. SEO. SEO is figure out what channel we're using for these areas. So for SEO, we're going to focus on Google. For search marketing, we'll use Google AdWords. And with social media, I'm going to start with Facebook. And then for video, we'll use YouTube. So let's drop these 4 into a table. Next, we need to score the effort on a scale of 1 to 6, 6 being the most amount of effort and 1 the least. We'll also score the value. Which of these are likely to have the biggest return on investment? Now, these scores are specific to your business, so I'm going to just assign some numbers here as an example. Now that we have our scores, let's visualize how we can spend our time. To do that, we'll create a 6x6 grid, 1 axis for effort and 1 axis for value. Since we're using a scale of 1 to 6, we'll mark each row and column with a corresponding number. Now, if we break these into 4 separate sections, what we have is a visualization of effort versus value. The top left is low value, low effort, and the bottom right is high value, high effort. Taking our scores from the previous table, we can plot exactly where these marketing channels land. So, since I scored Google a 5 for value and a 4 for effort, I'll place that in the correct section. I'll repeat this process for AdWords, YouTube, and Facebook. With the complete matrix, it's easier to decide how we will spend our time. Start with things in the high value, low effort section and work your way through the matrix from there. Keep in mind, just because something is high effort and low value doesn't mean it's not worth exploring. We're simply scoring these in relation to one another. Low value could still mean a significant return on investment. It's just not as significant as something in the high value section. As you explore the opportunities online marketing provides, I think it's helpful to first take a look at the history of digital advertising and then review the current landscape. The first widespread digital advertising started in the early 1990s. Display banners for Sears products started appearing on the bottom of the screen for customers of an online service provider, Prodigy. At that time, they were much like magazine ads, visual but not interactive. In 1993, the first clickable ad was created by a law firm in Silicon Valley. And from there, things took off. In 1994, web banner advertising was mainstream. And it stayed so until 1998, when the first search advertising keywords became available through a company that was eventually acquired by Yahoo. Google followed suit by launching AdWords in 2000, and the rest of digital marketing fell into place. From 2000 until now, we've watched the landscape shift to include social media, video advertisements, interstitial advertising, these online marketing provides. I think it's helpful to first take a look at the history of digital advertising and then review the current landscape. The first, as for today, well, we've really seen some difficult to decide to provide longer periods of time online. In 2010, mobile tracking new marketing methodology. Until now, we've watched the landscape shift, launching AdWords in 2000, and the rest of digital marketing fell into place. From 2000 until now, we've watched the landscape shift to include social media, video advertisements, interstitial advertising, and an entirely new marketing methodology surrounded by the idea of promoting content and not just ads. We've seen entirely new platforms catered to improving ads, tracking ads, and serving ads gain massive market share. In 2010, mobile found its stride, and mobile advertising spend has been increasing almost 90% each year. As the adoption of digital media continues to climb, we're seeing people spend longer periods of time online. And this means that the digital channels are growing rapidly, and with it, the allure of digital marketing. In 2000, it would have been extremely difficult to decide to promote yourself online, and now it's crazy not to. So throughout these years, we've really seen some incredible shifts in how people respond to online marketing. And as for today, well, we have a pretty good picture of the current landscape as well. First of all, search is the #1 source currently used when making a decision to purchase something. And this comes from consumers all the way up to high-level business decision makers. Your website's visibility in search is likely the most valuable real estate online. And because searchers are expressing intent, they're an ideal target. Paid search is also incredibly popular. Organic results take a lot of time, but they're valuable. So many brands want to cut to the front of the line by paying for that opportunity. Paid search is a key piece of today's digital landscape, and the current leader to buy ads from is Google AdWords. Email was once a marketer's dream. A quality email list was extremely valuable in the early 2000s. Now, it's still effective, but it must be mobile-friendly. Almost 70% of all emails are opened on a mobile device, so the landscape has definitely shifted. And with mobile email, the digital marketplace demands a mobile website. We're also seeing a huge trend in marketing automation. These concepts involve automated bidding based on results, automatically remarketing to people who visited your site, and even creating custom advertisements specific to what a user was previously searching for. Automation will continue to evolve over the next couple of years and is likely going to stay a key component in your marketing toolkit. Social media is still proving to be valuable for many brands. There has been some pushback from the consumer as it relates to advertisements in social and the way that networks are organizing their feeds. But this marketing style is still finding ways to improve, and we'll likely see social advertising remain very popular in today's landscape. And finally, we're in a mature stage of content marketing. Building high-value content for audiences is proving to generate significant ROI for those doing it well. Users are reporting interesting content as being one of the top 3 reasons that they follow a brand. Now, content marketing might actually be in the process of reforming again. More and more consumers are becoming weary of sensational headlines and may be responding less effectively to previous techniques. It's important to stay in tune with the online marketing landscape. As new trends emerge, test them out and see how they perform for your brand. We talk a lot about the funnel in marketing. So before we begin to tackle the various aspects of online marketing, let's take a closer look at the funnel. A funnel is really just a way to represent the customer's journey as they move towards the purchase of your product or service. At the top, or the widest point of the funnel, is where a buyer starts their journey. And the bottom, the narrowest part, is where they complete it. Our goal as marketers is to funnel prospects into buyers, moving them from the top to the bottom of the funnel. The shape reflects the fact that a large number of people will never complete the journey through the funnel. You'll expose your product or service to a lot of people at the top of the funnel, but only a small fraction will actually convert. Now, we tend to segment the funnel into 4 areas. The journey through the funnel. You'll look from the top to the bottom of the funnel. The shape reflects the fact that a large number of people will never complete the journey through the funnel. You'll expose your product or service to a lot of people at the top of the funnel, but only a small fraction will actually convert. Now, we tend to segment the funnel into 4 areas: awareness, interest, desire, and action. At the top is awareness. A prospect has to become aware of 2 things: their problem and your solution. It's in this stage that your brand is exposed to the prospect alongside competitors. And below awareness, we have interest. At this stage, a consumer begins to explore the products or services available to them. Next comes desire, which we can also call consideration. It's here that a prospect wants to make a purchase, but it may or may not be with your brand. They're in the final stages of evaluating whether or not to commit. And finally, action. They're either going to buy or not. They may select your company, another company, or based on their findings, decide they're not making a purchase at all. Now, this is the foundational funnel, and we often reference these different segments as top of funnel, middle funnel, and bottom funnel. Towards the bottom of the funnel, you have a consumer who is close to making a purchase. Bottom funnel marketing focuses on identifying consumers who are in a buying decision and then converting them. At the top of the funnel, you're focused on bringing in leads. If there's 0 top of the funnel marketing, there's nobody coming out the other side. And as you might expect, middle of the funnel marketing is keeping that nurturing process in motion, letting those leads move from the top to the bottom. Now, the funnel isn't a rule. It's just a way of visualizing various states a consumer mindset exists in and leading them through that buyer's journey. So, we've come to understand the funnel is a way of evaluating the buyer's journey. And we've also got a good idea of each step within the funnel and how it relates to our consumer. And that's great and all, but now we need to start making use of this knowledge, truly applying it, so we can influence how the consumer moves throughout the funnel and how we activate this consumer within each stage. So to do this, we'll map our marketing efforts to each stage of the funnel. We want to make sure that we have ample coverage, that our messaging pushes a consumer in the right direction, and that we're not doing anything to hamper that progression. But before we can do that, we need to better understand the buyer journey so that we can evaluate the type of marketing to use in each stage of this journey. When you know the journey, you'll know where to deploy solutions.